guys, it's Steve Sleepy. This is not a cast. This is not an official podcast. We were skipping last week because we all took the Blue Ridge Mountain trip, but I threw my computer down and we recorded a little bit. It's not going to be your standard audio quality that you're used to from the podcast, but it's acceptable and it's fairly short. We were going to record again, but then we just got caught up with the trip. So what you're going to have to do is listen to this and then tune in next week, because I'm sure we're going to be discussing this and many other things on an official podcast that we're actually recording tonight. So, all right, check it out. This is not a cast with the guys. All right, hey, where are we?
Marion, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Little Switzerland.
So this is, usually we'd be doing a podcast tomorrow at ClevelandMoto with Phil, but Phil's not with us, so this is going to be a not a cast. But again, where are we, Nick?
Well, he's alive, but he's not physically here.
Right, so it's not a cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in North Carolina. We're in the Pisgah National Forest. We're in Marion, North Carolina, but this little community is called Little Switzerland. And that's where we're at right now. We're in the mountains, and we've got a bunch of motorcycles, and we're gonna do whatever the hell we feel like doing.
We all checked into 105 Possum Trot Lane, which I love the name of that.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Piper and I were talking about it today, and we were like, you got to do a dance, and it's going to be like the possum trot, and it's going to first you put your left hand, then you put your right, then you put your left hand, then you put your right, and then we're all just going to fall down dead.
So, all right, well
wait,
who's here?
You're the commentator?
No, I'm not.
To your left.
Oh, okay, so there's Steve Sleepy. To my left,
Chris Smith.
to his left,
To his left, Nick DeVito.
to his left, Oscar,
Yep.
Johnny Mac.
Dan KROMKE.
and some beers.
A beer.
And beer.
And beer.
So everybody's trip.
Well, my trip was considerably less than you guys's, but
Well, that's because you officially...
So how many hours are you away from here? How long did it take for you to get here?
it took me about 3.5 hours. KROMKE, how about you? 2?
2.5 hours.
Oh,
to
shit.
get here today.
Wow.
Yeah, but
And where'd you come from?
All right.
Salem, South Carolina.
and before that,
And what took you there?
Friends from Lakewood in Cleveland that had moved down there like 4 years ago. They retired and off they fucked.
But this is a big grand tour that you've been on that started like a month ago. Like when's the last time you've even been home?
I think it was March 10th.
Oh my goodness!
I'm not positive.
Yes, yes, it was because it was my birthday. And you were there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you were planning leaving the day after, right?
The day after that,
Yeah.
I left.
and so you picked up a brand new bike. We talked about it on the podcast. You picked it up on the way to the podcast.
The Triumph 660.
Yep. You had it for a week. You threw it on a trailer and then took it out to
Phoenix. And rode around with my friend Mark out there. Put about 700 miles on it.
Did you do
Nice.
the break-in properly, or did you give it a little goose?
Well, I thought, didn't you say it had it would only let you do so much?
No, the tack like flashes really angrily. At first, it was literally like 3,600 RPMs or 4,600 or something. It's like, so I could go 45 miles an hour. And in Phoenix, they're like Arno roads.
Yeah.
You know, the slowest roads, the speed limit's 45 miles an hour, and everybody's going 60.
Yeah.
Well, I'm finding that out at my new house. I have the buddy and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm not even sure if I can ride it because nobody goes under 65 miles an hour out there.
Including you when you're trying to Italian tune up the SSR 125 the other day when I was out there.
Yes.
Riding out in Phoenix is weird because it's like all the roads around Phoenix are straight as an arrow because it's just flat. And then you go, I don't know, what is it, like 10, 15 miles, and there's mountains, and then it's all kinds of good twisty roads.
Nice.
Sweet.
So what do you think? So you've had the bike, you put 800 miles on it. What's your opinion?
I've never had a bike this quick before because I've never had, the biggest motorcycle I've ever owned is my America 865.
So this is the sportiest, hottest bike like you've ever owned.
Right, it's really quick.
Interesting note, I had my buddy who was trading in his FZ09 was asked, just threw out there, hey, anybody ideas of what are good bikes or whatever? And I chimed back, and everybody had thrown something in there. I chimed back that my one buddy just bought an Africa Twin. My other buddy has them. They say they're the gold standard. They love their Africa Twins. But that my other buddy bought a Triumph 660 and got a good deal on it, and he really likes that bike, seems to like it.
the reviewers are all saying it's like better than the KLR, better than the Versans.
Yeah, I've seen no bad.
Well, I don't
press
think
about it.
anybody thinks that's difficult to understand. That's listening to this podcast. But short story long, my buddy Kevin ended up just buying a red one. So
Oh, nice. So you did get it.
Kevin Nixon, I don't know if any of you have ever met him or anything.
Did you get
but
it
he's a
from
good friend.
down the street from Phil?
No, he's up in Connecticut. Yeah, Connecticut.
No, that's nice.
Well, interesting too on this trip. I think if I was keeping score, I bet it would have been like 3 or 4 to 1. I saw adventure bikes over cruisers.
Yeah.
Wow,
A lot of
really?
adventure bikes out west, and around here even today, I saw mostly adventure bikes when I saw bikes.
Out by me too.
But there's a lot of adventure to be had out there. I mean, you're out in Arizona, the desert and stuff like
Well, you
that.
know what you're
I mean,
doing? You were on roads that weren't within 15 miles of a bar. So you're not going to see Harley riders.
There's a lot of little bars, Harley bars out there.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, little,
Well, that's where they were.
There'll be like a bend in the road, and there'll be like something or other flat.
So, did you see anything crazy? Did a rattlesnake try to bite you at one point?
Yeah, I mean, we were riding back home one day, and it's like it didn't register on my brain what it was, and I'm like, went within about 2 feet of a rattlesnake, my foot, and I'm like this. And then my friend Mark sees that, he swerves over and does the same thing. And he's like, "Shit, it's a rattlesnake."
Yikes.
You think that's how the leg hazard signal was invented?
Right, it must be.
It's just a natural reaction.
Yes.
So did you find, like, I remember, like, I was out in Tucson and a bunch of places in Arizona, and, like, at the time I was racing bicycles. And to go for rides, I had to get up at 4 a.m. and we'd ride until about 8 or 9, and then it got so fucking hot you couldn't ride anymore.
You know, this time of year it's beautiful out there.
Oh.
It was mostly highs 80 to 85.
Oh, that's
Sunny or partly sunny. Kind of breezy, so not bad.
Yeah. That sounds
I
good.
mean, the humidity's typically probably 10 or 15%.
So, all right, so we all came down here. Nick,
105 possum trot.
Yeah, 105 possum
I
trot.
was just gonna just talk a little bit about the house that Nick has procured.
Yeah,
for
how
us.
did you find the house? And what made you look for this in this area?
Airbnb. I was just looking at what was available, and I was looking at number of beds, this one stuck out because obviously the view. There's a balcony which has some really nice views of the mountains.
Oh, it's insane.
I mean, like off the back of I told Piper, I'm like, it's like a 40-foot drop off of that.
Oh yeah.
Off of the balcony back here, and but there's another house down there. So this is cut into the hillside.
I
and
think after enough beers, we can pee on that house.
Oh yeah, I'm game to play, but also too, what's kind
Depends
of
on the
cool.
wind direction.
Oh, yeah.
What's interesting is when you're looking at our vista here, it's a valley and everything, and there's mountains, and then there's mountains, and then there's mountains, and then you look way off of this, and there's another really. It's like
There's a
it's these are high, and then these are higher, and then there's some really high places around us.
Yeah.
Those might be 40 miles away.
Well, that's what I'm like. That's what I said to Oscar. We're out here, and I'm like, look at that high spot. I mean, if we said we wanted to ride there, that could be a 100-mile ride. I don't.
Yeah.
We don't know.
No, I mean,
Getting there.
when I chose I was looking at a bunch of different places, and my main criteria was, is it in the middle of Pisgah National Forest? And it is.
We saw the sign coming in.
Yes.
We have at least one entrance where we can go up the road
Oh,
here
and 5 miles away
and
from
get
Blue
our
Ridge
picture
Parkway.
taken.
So Blue Ridge Parkway is right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. 2, is it close to the Blue Ridge Parkway? It is. I'm sure we'll do a ride just
we
riding
have
along
to.
the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Which I was mistaken about that, and he corrected me on it. I was thinking like it's a highway, Blue Ridge,
Oh no, it's
But from talking with Pete had said it's like going through the metro parks.
Yeah,
Right,
except for that you're on a fucking mountain.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
right.
And we're near Mayberry RFD.
Yeah. Wait, what's that?
That was Ashley or wherever, Ashley or something, or
Mount Airy.
Mount Airy, yeah.
Oh, Mount Airy. Yeah.
You guys don't know that reference? You guys are all too young.
What, Mayberry?
Mayberry.
Andy of Mayberry?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were from here?
They're from a place called Mayberry, which is modeled after Mount Airy, which you would have seen as you came down 77 South.
I thought they were in
And
Indiana.
there's
No?
stop. Route 64 going east to Mount Airy.
Well, I know Mount Airy. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayberry.
So,
Oh, you know The Simpsons.
Well, not really, but more than you.
Exceedingly.
But anyway, 105 pounds. So the other thing too is like coming in here. At one point I'm like, I thought it would be a little bit more twisty and everything, and just as I spat those words out, I turned left onto the road that comes up to here.
266A.
Yeah. And all of a sudden it was like, okay, here's a turn, here's a turn, here's a really tight turn. Okay, now we're just like, and meanwhile I'm powering up the hill. Now I slapped the faux stick shift in my I'm like, no, I'm just gonna like hold first gear and just like.
I did that too. It was tight.
And there's a pickup truck behind me, and he was like, no, I'm kind of comfortable with just you doing what you're doing.
Yeah. But ask John if he slowed down during those switchbacks going up north.
No, I didn't slow down.
Of course not.
I hated on the way here going through the mountains the big trucks, the semis, because like going up they do 40 and they get in your way and you pass them. But then like you'd be doing 70 in the right hand lane and then they come back doing 100 and you pass you and then they get to the next hill, they'd slow down. It was this constant fucking
I can deal with that. What I can't deal with is this cunt. That pulls out because this guy's doing 40 and he's going to pass him at 42.
Yeah.
The slow.
Yeah.
Or you know what happened?
Both side by side.
And Oscar can vouch for this. You know what happened to me today? There'd be a guy doing 50 in the right-hand lane, and I'm coming doing 65. So I get to the left to pass him, and all of a sudden, dude goes to 70.
Yeah.
And then I'm stuck.
Oscar?
I concur. Yeah, it was...
All right, because we don't believe anything Cinch says.
Right.
We need a second.
The mileage may vary, but it's... Yeah, that was true.
Well,
Overall, I didn't think the ride was
time
that
for everything.
bad.
No.
But I wasn't in an underpowered, overweight vehicle like some.
Yeah, I have 19 horsepower and I was pulling like 700 pounds.
He had a trailer with his what is that? A Hyundai
Sonata.
It's an accent. It's the lowest model. New, they're $11,000.
A 0.9 liter.
Yeah, I think it's actually a key car. Like Phil can sell them in Japan.
0.6 liter.
I rented it's a Nissan NV 2500 van. Like
I want to check that out a little bit. I've always seen them. They're odd looking.
They are odd looking, aren't they? Like I've always thought they were weird looking because they look like
we built a pickup truck.
Yes.
Then we put a van.
Yes,
on the
that's
back.
exactly right. It looks like a pickup. Well, if you picture like a transit van or something, it looks like a commercial van. But this thing looks like a pickup truck that has a hat on it or something like that.
Started life as a Titan.
Right. Yeah.
And then, but that's like the old Jimmy GMC, like a Suburban or whatever.
That's true.
So how'd it run?
It was okay.
Tuned for the mid-range?
What?
Tuned for the mid-range?
Tuned for the mid-range, yeah, for sure. Especially around the tight, twisty.
Did it feel top heavy in those turns? Because that fucker's tall.
Yes,
that
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Were you moving back and forth like this? Or?
Here's the thing I autocross, and so there's a point in a corner. There's a point in a corner where it's a.
Don't have to be proud.
I don't know how to
I'm going in this
it.
corner. I'm trying to get to the line, and at the apex,
where it's like a there's a point in the corner where you feel your car has leaned over as much as it's going to lean over. You're in a sort of like
maximum
solid
roll.
state. Yeah. It's almost like a passive sort of state. The suspension's and it's loaded up. It's going. You're around the corner where you feel like the car is going to roll over on itself, but it's just there, and you need to hold that through the corner. And that's pretty much how every single corner was this entire way up the mountain. And I was racing against a Toyota Prius that was in front of me, and it was pulling away the entire time. There was a Honda Civic behind me right on my ass.
We got on one road right when we hit Tennessee. We went it took us off the main highway and onto this 55 mile an hour nice swoopy road. Yep. We get into this area where it's beautiful, man. There's a stream coming down on the right hand side of the road. It's completely turny, and right as we get to the stoplight, a tanker truck and then a thing hauling like a carnival ride goes right in front of us. And what they were averaging 15 the whole way. It was pretty bad. It was terrible. But I'm like, why would somebody tell these trucks? This one truck was barely making the turns. You know what I mean? If it had it was another 15 degrees of a turn. It would have been off the road.
Oh, well, that's a real thing over like on the tail of the Dragon. Like,
Yeah, they get
they're
stuck.
too long of vehicles,
Yeah.
and they go around this big hairpin, and they're like cutting into the other lane. They just can't.
So they shut down the whole corner.
Here's the thing, though. With my way up the mountain, I didn't experience that. I'm thankful that even in the vehicle.
There's ways up the mountain. There's a your way and a my way.
Well, it might have been the same way, but when I came up the mountain in my vehicle, I was limited by my skill, not by the car in front of me, which made it very fun and kind of scary.
It'll be interesting to see what it's like riding tomorrow and stuff.
yeah.
Just going up and down the
Oh, so
hill.
speaking of that, all right, what did everybody bring? So I brought an SP250 and the TNT 135. Chris, what did you bring?
I brought the Janus and I brought Cinch's TNT 135.
Nick.
Excuse me. You brought the SSR?
No. He's also
he's
claiming
going to
the
be
135.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Keep up there, son. Keep up, son. I even got that.
I
Come on.
am 1.5 PBRs in. I'm
fucked up.
I brought
Pull.
Oh, who?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. I brought my Super Hawk. I was going to bring my CT 140, but it exploded before I came. So,
That's not good.
well,
So what did you say about that, though? Let's talk a little bit about it. Let's just so everybody knows.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's a CT 140. It's got the 140 Piranha motor. Is it whatever?
Yeah.
But you've actually fuel injected this bike and everything, and so now you're seeing why sometimes me being an old school, hey, I'm okay with the carburetor and points is maybe not so bad.
Carburetors are okay.
Say I'm right.
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to say that. I converted it to some Chinese fuel injection system, and it worked. It worked pretty well at Mid-Ohio, and I thought that I knew better. So I converted it to like an actual tuner studio style Mega Squirt system.
Oh, sweet.
And
You would think.
I fucked it up. I blew up an ignition coil.
But I mean, okay, so it's an ignition coil. How much is that? Like $13?
Yeah.
mean,
It's not
it's
going to be
fine.
expensive. It just means that I couldn't bring it on the trip.
Because you programmed in too much dwell or something
Yes.
like that. Okay.
So did you get actual or no?
Oh yeah, it popped.
Oh, nice.
It made some noise and some smoke, and
That's the good thing about an old CT, 6-volt CT. It would never have had the power to do anything that
I'll get a bottle of
That's
Lucas
true.
smoke if you need it. To
Oh.
put the smoke back in.
Maybe you could just patch it up with some epoxy and just put the smoke in there.
Is somebody doing laundry?
No.
Excuse me, I had a little gas.
Oh.
I mean, this is freshly. I mean, it's
No, but it
just
sounds like something's in the dryer room.
you're getting that like it's done thing or whatever.
Yeah, or
It's the fridge, probably.
Oh, it's just the fridge.
It's a squirrel on the wheel.
Oh, nice.
So, but you got the trusty Super Hawk. That should help you.
Yeah, I've got the Super Hawk. Before I brought it, I changed the chain. I changed the oil. I cleaned out the little oil spinner thing, which was full of gunk. I adjusted the valves, which really didn't need adjusted. And yeah, it runs.
Is your tappy tap it a happy tap it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
A tappy valve is a happy
Did you bring
valve.
anything at all, Oscar?
I brought my medium format Pentax 6.7.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's fucking that new exhaust you put on it.
Oh, it's tight. It's
Toys.
tight.
I gotta say, this is the first time I've ever seen a Pentax 6.7 medium format camera in person.
Yeah.
And when you look at the pictures on eBay,
It still won't make your dick look big though. It's just
It's gonna make it spin.
but when you look at the pictures on eBay, it looks like an
regular
old camera.
right.
But in real life, it's about that times 1.5.
And 3 times the way that you think it's
Yes.
gonna be.
Yeah, when
It
you
is-
see medium format,
Yeah.
there was I was assigned for work to go to the Botanical Gardens and do the Orchids Forever show, and I was filming it. And there was like a 75-year-old lady, and she had a Hasselblad medium format camera.
Oof.
And it was like she's sitting there, and I was like, "Oh," she goes, "Oh, who do you work for?" And I said, "Oh, I work for the company that did the orchids and stuff." She goes, "I'm like, oh, who do you work for?" She goes, "Oh, I just do this for fun." Like you have a $45,000 medium format camera
Pretty
with
much.
a $5,000 lens, and she's just snapping
This
pictures
is her
of orchids.
hobby.
It's
It's her hobby.
Yeah.
Had to be from Avon. somewhere out there.
John, what'd you bring?
And to his left.
I brought the Marine Corps KLR 650.
That
I
looks
figured
awesome.
that'd be a great all-around bike for this trip.
Yep.
Holds lots of fuel. I can haul some fuel for some other people who might need some in-flight refueling.
Who's got the siphon hose?
Yeah, well, that's I think we found a nice what is it, the Roto Pack out there.
Rotopack's 1 gallon.
I'll throw that on the back there in case anybody.
That'd be
needs a
good
little
because
fuel.
the 135 gets 107 miles to a tank.
I think you're at 100 miles to maybe a tank, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No.
What about the SP? We don't even know what it gets.
It's got to be about 100 at least. It's about a 2-gallon tank, somewhere around there. So it's probably 100 miles.
But I mean, I think a 100-mile trip and then hit a gas station's about right. Or anytime if you start getting
So we have twisty roads. We have like breweries we can go to, but then there's trails too, right? That's why you said there's OHV.
Let's be realistic about the trail riding. I mean, maybe we'll try to go up 1 or 2 here or there. I don't know.
Well,
We'll
here's,
see.
here's the thing with the OHV. Oh, he's got a piece of paper. What is that?
It's a joke.
No. Oh, he's Chris has all the breweries listed in alphabetical order. Well done, sir.
With phone numbers and street addresses and
Can you
zip codes.
please resort those by distance?
You're right. Here's the thing with the
Google
OHV
Maps will
trails.
do that.
With the OHV trails, I've never ridden on it. Has anybody here ridden on OHV trails?
Yes,
I'm
you
not
got
here.
Allegheny Mountains, and it's just like it's like the towpath.
Yeah.
It's like you really can you could probably take your Super Hawk on. Most
Okay.
of
Well,
them.
here's the thing with
When I
this
did the
one.
Alleghenies, and then they had berms, so you couldn't get out of third gear.
Yeah.
They'd be like first, second, and then like, no, I can't hit that berm. So you're like, well, then you're like left with like second, third, second. You can.
You're not going fast.
Okay,
But I'm
well,
sure it's not like that here. I mean,
No.
all over here, I was showing. I'm like, look at all these fire roads. Every mountain has a fire road cut in it. If you wanted to be like Mr. Adventure, you could go up all these little things with the right little bike.
Well,
Plus, I
Like
mean,
a
driveways.
CT140, but you don't have that. so-
Driveways are at a 60-degree angle out here, so I can't imagine what trails are like.
Yeah, you better know. You
Well,
better be ready to do a little hill climbing.
with the OHV trails, the way the website phrased it is that it's kind of separated by difficulty as far as the width of the trail. So I think a lot of them are meant for actual like 4x4
Yeah.
trucks. So those would be fairly easy, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they get narrower for ATVs or for dirt bikes,
That'll
they get
be
more
no
difficult.
fun on a Saturday or Sunday. I've done some of that, and especially around here, if it's an OHV trail. So I went to a place called Sagebrush, Sugar Brush.
I saw that on the way down here, Sugar Brush or something.
Well, this is in like right across, like
You're
right
thinking
on
of
the Heidelberg.
Sugar Snatch.
But it's an OHV park, and it was a lot of 4x4s and everything. I took the KLR. Well, here's the thing: the 4x4s are trucking along. They're kind of cruising, 3 or 4 guys going together. Well, you're on a bike. Well, they'll stop in the middle of a hill like this.
Yeah.
Because that's no big deal for them. Well, if there's a hill like this, I want to get to the top before I
Right,
start.
Well,
so meanwhile, I found myself having to like ride past these four-wheels, these Jeeps and stuff, like on the like raised freaking little like
Well, and here's the other thing with the OHV trails is this weekend is the first weekend that they open for the season.
Oh, good lord.
Oh yeah, no.
So
Yeah, well, the roads are not. I mean,
Well,
whatever, we'll figure it out.
you're pretty much out on OHV trails. You're not riding OHV trails. You're not riding. You're not riding.
No, it'd just be me and you.
Maybe at some
Street
point,
tires and-
you and I will go out and we are not.
I say,
we're
as
not
we're
buying
going,
a pass. We're not
as-
buying a pass.
No, I'm saying as we're
If
driving
we
down.
something, we find some little thing. What is that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We find a dirt road, we sneak up it, sneak down it.
What is it?
I am perfectly fine with going on
We're in and out
gravel
before she
roads
wakes up.
with the Super Hawk. And there's a website that you can go to that finds nice gravel roads.
But what you got to watch the
you
road.
run.
Most of the dirt roads are just somebody's driveway.
Say hi.
True.
Turn around, go back down.
Yep.
Hope they don't
Back
have the
up your
shotgun
trailer
too
and-
handy.
Yeah, that's it.
If you get past the smell, you got her licked.
So to speak.
Smith, you got a bubbler or what? You got a joke?
Whoa! What did he bring?
Oh,
The tiger.
yeah, we talked about it for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So still the
we talked to on another podcast about another road that's really good. It's less up and down, but it's still very twisty. North Carolina 215, and I was just looking at that. Mm-hmm. It's 2 hours away just to get to the.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's going to be like a time, depending on what road you're. Right, if you have to take a road like this to get to the road like this, it takes a lot longer to get to the road.
Well, this is actually going by the freeway through Asheville, so it's probably a lot longer the way we would go.
What direct? So the sun went down where? Over there?
That way. Yeah.
This way?
Yep.
So the Blue Ridge Parkway was over there.
I think
back here.
Sort of. It crosses to the north of us.
So, but I think east is. So I think if we went in the morning, like 9 or 10, the sun would be coming up, and we'd be like riding on the. It'd be cool. I think that'd be the time. Plus traffic.
Yeah, you want to be riding away from the sun in the morning if possible.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be to our side.
Here's the thing.
Or just not towards it.
Right. Yeah.
I think after we.
So we're in the mountains. The roads are very squiggly.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
Guess what? When you're in a hairpin turn,
you're always
right.
You're not gonna. It's not a straight, so you're always gonna be.
And the funny part is, I have like 2 bikes at home that are perfect for twisty roads, and I brought a dirt bike with bad suspension.
I think you brought
These are 15-mile-an-hour curves.
Yeah.
These are like when you remember we rode that little stretch and it was a little bit wet.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like I was like going through the curve at 5 mile an hour, putting my foot down. I'm like, this is. I'm like,
that was gnarly.
Yeah, these are not hundreds of horsepower corners. These are tens of horsepower.
if you have a good, nice long first gear or the right second gear going up the hill is going to be like that's the up. Like having to keep it wound out and going up through the curves is going to be interesting.
Not gonna lie, coming up this mountain, there were a couple corners where I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be tough on a small displacement bike."
Yeah,
tough on any bike. I mean,
I mean, like when we did the one ride and we did the turn up the one's really steep hill. Like it's like making a right turn and going straight up a driveway.
I've been doing a lot of
10 times in a row
in this area since my friends moved down here. This road that came up to this house is the most fucking insane thing I've driven on since I've been driving around Western, North, and South Carolina.
Oh my god!
That road is nuts.
We did some stuff like this when I was out in California, and it was, and then coming down like the Kenyon Canyon, it was faster. It was like, okay, you're going 70 mile an hour, but you're doing inside and outside, but there's drop offs, and you're like, ooh, this is kind of hairy.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to do one?
I'm saving it up.
Chris Smith is passing out the Basil Hayden's.
Yeah, he's burping up.
How do you guys like it?
It's delicious.
How would you rate it on a scale of 9 to 10?
3 stars.
9.8.
I didn't like when I smoked it. It wasn't that good.
What's that?
Salami on the floor.
Oh, John throwing salamis.
John, you got to eat it now.
I threw salami at the vegan.
That's it.
Journey through his meat or.
All these guys throwing their salamis at me. It's embarrassing.
It wouldn't be the first time.
I know.
So what do you think? Is that a good first start? Like that's the first half of that's the intro, or you want to keep rolling?
I think we're good. Smith has a joke.
I tried to start a professional hide and seek team, but it didn't work out. It turns out good players are hard to find.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think
Hard players are good to find too, depending on your disposition.
Well, guys, what do you think? I guess what do you imagine we're gonna do this weekend?
I mean, I'm calling this your bachelor party, so
this is not my bachelor party.
Good for you,
we're still strapping a giant penis to your mouth.
Well, we're still calling college that.
and we're still taking you to a strip club. So
I think the penis.
How's Johnny Drum?
Oh boy.
It's always awesome.
So, I can say this. So, we got motorcycles, booze.
Yes.
I have other party favors. John had party favors. We have camera gear, recording gear, drones.
Yep.
Beer.
Your a nice
RC
car.
Oh, I got a
RC car.
RC
cars.
car. Yep.
We did fly a drone in like 47 mile an hour winds.
We got some LPs, turntable.
Yeah.
one SSR made it. We got 2 guitars, a banjo.
My SSR made it.
Oh, the one you built?
The one that I built made it.
The winning SSR.
Yes, the winning SSR.
Taking it home with you.
Well, hurry up and get out there and clean the carburetor so we can all ride it.
The neighbors are gonna love that, dude.
Yeah.
Up and down there.
It is loud. It is loud.
All right. Well, yeah.
Did Hofford ever finish billing his?
I mean, it gets ridden a lot. So I'm assuming it's built enough.
Built enough.
That's all you can do.
Sleepy still can't find the screw that you missed, so that doesn't count.
I don't need it now because I got new plastics on.
The clock is still ticking.
So
Yeah.
It's still going. Me and Steve are trying to figure out who's going to finish last.
And on that note,
This is before the storm, Papa.
It's gonna get worse.
Okay, well, we're going to hit the off button because it's different here.
Hey guys, Sleepy here. We never did record another session that weekend, but you can definitely check out the entire video and recap of the trip on Moto Stories with Unkie Phil. And tune in next week to the Cleveland Moto podcast because we are definitely discussing this. And you will find out everything that happened and things that you probably don't even want to know about. So on that point, ride fast and take chances.